give us kind of your overall update on the veteran, if you will, or established major leaguer market, the non-prospect market. Who should people maybe be looking for? As you scroll deeper into our baseball card rankings, you get hit with mostly prospects. But who are some guys that you'd like to maybe call out as, like, we talked about Judge. It sounds like he's one. Anyone else fall into that category?
So what do you mean is established? Do you mean that they've played at least one game?
Well,
or do you mean like
let's
they've
say
been
that,
at least one season?
let's just say non-prospects. So
Okay.
the definition of the definition of a prospect, I think, is that they've played over 100 games or something like that. So you can clarify
baseball,
that, and then let's just say non-prospects.
Okay. In baseball, the prospect tag or the rookie tag is tagged after a certain amount of pitches or a certain amount of game appearances or plate appearances, depending on if you're a pitcher or a hitter. So my answer was going to be, I don't know if you count Julio Rodriguez as established major leaguer because he's been in the league for a month, but he is turning things around. Like he was bad in the beginning of the season, and now he is doing things that I'm like, this guy might be better than Franco. Which is crazy to say. Like, I think Julio and Franco are going to be the next wave of stars that take this league and go into a new place, And so I would say J-Rod is, I mean, just watching him, I'm just like, yes, this guy is what he was prescribed to be. And I said at the first month or the first 2 weeks, I was like, this guy dipped, and he was down like, I think 22% on some of his cards. And I was like, you need to buy this. And now his cards are back, even higher. So I looked up last night, actually, a Bowman Chrome auto of Wander Franco is $2,000 PSA 10. Base auto PSA 10, Wander Franco, $2,000. And my buddy asked me, how much less is Julio Rodriguez's PSA 10? And I said, I don't know, probably a little bit, it's definitely good to compare these. I look at him, it's $120 on average higher than Franco's right now. And so I'm like, okay, all right, J-Rod is definitely, his market is definitely taken off. But so I think I would say J-Rod, but if I'm going to go deeper into like I guess a more established player, there's guys I really do like Lou Bob. I think the White Sox are quietly building something pretty impressive. I really like Vladimir Guerrero. I think Junior is going to be able to do stuff that he's going to have the longest career, I think, out of all these guys, because he's going to end up being like a Melky Cabrera, or not Melky Cabrera, different player. He's going to be like Cabrera, the Tigers Cabrera, and he's going to have the longer career in terms of he's going to be able to hit 3,000. He's going to play when he's looking like Pujols, when he's out there and he looks like the Michelin Man. You're going to see him playing forever and ever, and I think his career is going to last longer. So I would say Guerrero is still a huge buy for me, especially when you've got his – look at that PSA Chrome Auto right there. It's a $5,000. I mean, that's $3,000 higher than Julio Rodriguez, which is insane. But personally, in that field right there, just in those two guys, I would buy Julio, because I think Julio has the run to be able to be a $5,000 card. But I still think that Julio or Vladdy is a great play. But I want to talk about a guy. When you're asking me this question that you asked me about, and I dogged, I was like, you need to get out of this guy.
I think I know who it is.
And he's on the list, actually, but
guess?
he's way far down. Go ahead. You can
I guess who it is?
Yeah.
It's Jazzrado Chisholm Jr.
It is Jazz Chisholm, yes. So I was so down on him this I was like, Jazz is just a flair guy. They're looking for a flash in the pan, like Miami's falling apart, like this narrative I could build up. I was like, this guy is not what he is. And Jazz just continues to prove people wrong. Like, he's a guy that he loves he loves being the villain almost in this. Like the owner doesn't necessarily like love him, like to platoon him or something, like, and he's just Jazz. He's gonna get in there and he's gonna like, like the media loves him, the team loves him, people in the stands are all dyeing their hair blue because they're Jazz fans, and I'm like, okay, all right, I get it. Maybe Jazz is a guy. Maybe he is. I don't love investing in second base, potential backup shortstop. Like depending on how you want to look at that. I'm sure that somebody's gonna kill me in the comments, but I think defensively he doesn't stay there. But he's just a guy that I think that baseball needs. Like baseball is always talking about not having enough fun in the game, and how, like for instance, their superstars, Mike Trout and Aaron Judge, are actually media wise really boring. Like I think the MLB just wants those two guys, like, please do something awesome. And Trout's just like, I'll tweet or I'll put an Instagram post out like once every year. And Judge is like, I just look huge and I got new teeth. Like, I mean, it's just they don't have like a whole lot of media personality. But like Jazz has too much media personality. Like it's just like he is all out. Like he is in control of his game. He's got a market. Like he's got deals with companies that are going to come up and rise. Like he's doing things that almost like he's elevating companies, which I think is a really cool thing. Like he's standing behind other small companies in the area and rising them up into Major League Apparel and Major League like gloves and batting gloves and different types of wood bats and stuff. Like he's doing stuff that's just different. And I think that is going to not only be a huge part of his market, but he's playing like a guy who has a big market. So
nice. Yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see players, pan out. I think part of me sort of roots for everybody, and I like that Jazz has hit well so far this season, and I hope it continues, because I think it's probably a big part of like his success is that he's got to hit well, right? I mean, all these guys pretty much have to hit well to have any kind of hobby value. So, all right, cool. Anyone else? Any other veterans you want to call out as like sort of goodbye?
You won that round.
I'll take it.
Paul Hickey. I still think I'm going to still hammer the fact that Mike Trout is undervalued. Like that's kind of a LeBron situation for me right now. I'm going to continue to say it because I think he's undervalued. I just bought a Bowman Chrome of his for $400 a couple of weeks ago, and that card right there, actually, the Bowman Chrome base PSA 10. That's the card I bought. I bought it for $400 before the season started, and I sent it to PSA. So we'll see, what that looks like long. But I think like Mike Trout is super undervalued right now. I think he's a guy that needs to be purchased. He's a guy that's going to end up going down as like as one of those top echelon players. And I think his legacy is going to get bigger when he's not playing, because people are going to do the whole baseball thing where they build him up larger than he actually was. And that's going to be impressive considering he is worthy of being talked about like that. So I think, like as soon as he gets off the field, people are going to say, oh yeah, I got to watch Mike Trout and blah, blah, blah. And I still think we're pretty far away from Mike Trout leaving the field. So anyway.
Yeah. He's only 30. So if he stays in good shape,
yeah, I mean, he can.
And I mean, that is a plus. Yeah, and that is a plus side potentially to him not being a media personality, is that his focus and drive is on playing baseball, I would assume. And so maybe that does help him play longer, and winning doesn't seem to matter as much in long-term card value when you have the stats and physical abilities of Trout. So yeah, I think I'm going to be,
they have a chance this year. They have a chance.
Yeah, they do. They've got a lot of talent. I mean, they've got a lot of talent. And I mean, if they can make a run, all of those guys' prices are going to explode for sure. with Otani being next on that list for sure. So,
And Brandon
and he's
Marsh
just a
is
hype
probably third
train.
on that list. Brandon Marsh, a guy
All
a guy
right.
to look out for.
There we go. Another name. Another name. That's what we need from Kendall Lefty McKee, host of the Baseball Card Strategy Show on the Sports Card Strategy feed. So check that out. That's actually where you made the call on Julio Rodriguez. Was on the Baseball Card Strategy Show. I think episode 2, if I remember correctly. So, very, very good. I think like this will be a topic of discussion later on in the summer because similar to how we talked about the NBA playoffs at the top of the show, I think that a lot of other content creators are going to be like, they're just kind of talking about what's happening in the moment, whereas we're trying to talk about months before something happens, what to do so that you can be well prepared for that moment and ready to sell. But I think we do need to address the fact that, like, yes, as we get towards the MLB playoffs, there will still be plays. And so we'll probably continue to have the discussion around what those plays will be. But to me, there's more obvious plays. And so I want to